A special edition of The Reveal. Believe Them starts now.
Welcome to The Reveal. I'm Andy Pierrotti. We come to you from inside a Georgia detention center, where tonight's investigation centers on an Atlanta man who died in police custody, repeatedly heard screaming that he could not breathe. Instead of taking him to the hospital, the Cobb County Detention Center put him in a padded room to die. The medical examiner's office ruled his death natural, but evidence we uncovered shows his death could likely have been prevented.
Infirmary vet speaking, may I help you?
We have a guy named WINGO. He has been throwing up for a while now since we came on shift.
You seen it?
Yes, ma'am. I've seen him throwing up.
From the moment he stepped inside the Cobb County Jail, nearly everyone thought Cavell Wingo was sick. Everyone, that is, except those who needed to believe him the most.
I'm sending you one down. He's on the way. He's like laying on the floor screaming. He's sweating. He said he's got abdominal pain. He can't fake this.
Video recorded inside the jail in September 2019 has no sound, but interviews conducted by investigators with deputies and nursing staff paint a picture of what happened the night Wingo died.
He was asking for help. He was standing at the glass, repeatedly asking for help, and he could not breathe. And he had actually fell backwards onto the floor and crawled to the window and was asking again, begging for help, and he could not breathe.
When he yelled at me, or he was yelling in the cell block, he said, "I need to go to the hospital. I can't breathe." I talked to him for a minute, and I was like, "But if you're hollering, you are breathing."
So once he banged on the door, he fell back, because I'm assuming he couldn't breathe. I saw him fall back.
It started just before midnight on September 28th, when a deputy transferred Wingo to the infirmary after complaining of severe abdominal pain caused by an ulcer. Wingo was in custody for drug possession.
He was saying, "I'm not going to make it. I'm finna fall out the wheelchair." And I was kind of like, telling him, like, "No, you're going to be all right. We're almost there."
Records show for more than 7 hours, the 36-year-old father of 3 repeatedly begged to be sent to the hospital. Jail video shows him collapsing in his cell at least 5 times. A charge nurse named Annalene Visser said she believed Wingo was detoxing and only wanted to go to the hospital because he was drug seeking. She refused to take his vitals or allow anyone else to do it.
Me and the secretary, Tiana, both asked the charge nurse, Annalene, hey, he's asking for help. Can we help?
Yeah.
She said no.
The charge nurse then requested deputies send Wingo to a padded isolation room. After growing tired of hearing him complain, he was slowly dying.
Hi, do you have a pad open? I got an idiot over here playing games. He's trying to get to the hospital, so he's just playing around.
When a deputy opens his cell, Wingo collapses to the floor. It takes a deputy 9 minutes to pick him up. When he's put inside the padded room, they strip him of his clothes, leave 2 cups of water inside, and close the door. Jail policy requires staff to look inside isolation rooms every 15 minutes.
Did you look in the cell door?
Yes.
Did you look in the window?
Yes.
But the jail video shows that's not what happened. When it's time to check on Wingo, the deputy never looks inside 2 different times. A short time later, Wingo is found cold to the touch, not breathing, dead at 9:51 in the morning. Tiffany Wingo is Cavell's sister.
At the end of the day, I feel like he shouldn't have died like that. Like, he died alone. He died in the room screaming for help, and he asking y'all for help. And then at the end, y'all tried to give him help, and which it was too late.
KIEARA is Wingo's daughter.
How could so many people sit around and just watch somebody suffer like that and not help?
The charge nurse claims she never heard staff say Wingo couldn't breathe, and she didn't check his vitals because he was rowdy.
Explain rowdy. He was loud. He was, I don't know what he was saying. He was just disruptive.
Timothy Gardner is the family's attorney.
He wasn't loud, he wasn't disruptive, he was in pain. She also claims that he was fighting other inmates. He wasn't fighting other inmates, he was fighting for his life. And she chose to even observe that.
Not even sheriff investigators believe the charge nurse.
You said that if somebody's acting out, you don't take their vitals. We've seen the video, and I've yet to see him throughout the video acting out at all.
This past June, the sheriff's department concluded its investigation, finding no crime committed or jail policy violated. The medical examiner ruled his death natural, caused by a perforated gastric ulcer. No drugs found in his system.
At the end of the day, they just didn't care. There was nothing he could have done to make them care. It's who they are. It's criminal, quite honestly. If you're entrusted to care for someone, just like if you had to care for an elderly parent or a child, and you failed to care for that person when they were telling you they were sick, and then you chose to put that person in a corner in a closet and ignore their cries for help despite the clear signs that these people were in distress, and they died, then you're going to be held accountable. That's a crime. And their behavior makes you question not only their responsibilities as nurses and sworn officers, but as human beings.
Next, on The Reveal, a fresh pair of eyes looks into Wingo's medical response and the history of complaints involving the sheriff and his jail.
This is a reputation county. It has a reputation of, if you are of an ethnic background, don't get caught in Cobb County.
A civil rights organization wants a criminal investigation into Cavell Wingo's death and others who have died at the jail. We have the sheriff's response. But first, we asked an expert to take another look at the medical response that failed Mr. Wingo.
Man, within a couple of seconds, he just broke out in a big sweat. They're looking at us like he's just detoxing. We're like, no, you need to come get him.
Nearly a dozen fellow inmates sounded the alarm when they saw Cavell Wingo sick.
What happened was the guy was in pain and nobody took him serious. He was laying on the ground crying for help and nobody took him serious.
It's like he said, I have abdominal pain, I'm vomiting, I'm nauseated, and I have an ulcer. And they went, so what?
When Claire Teskey first saw video of Wingo begging for help inside the Cobb County Jail infirmary, she felt confident the 36-year-old was not faking his pain.
I like to say I've seen it all.
Teskey is a registered nurse with 40 years of experience, half of it managing correctional medical units in California. 11 Alive asked her to review Wingo's case.
This man is a walking time bomb, and they put him in a cell and left him there. That's pretty disturbing.
Teskey says the first sign Wingo needed immediate help is when he arrived by wheelchair complaining of an ulcer.
I can tell you that if that man had come in front of me in the infirmary, I would have probably had somebody take his vitals. I would have checked him, but I'd also have called an ambulance. I would have sent him out right then.
Two other issues caught her eye. A nurse playing card games on the computer for hours while Wingo pleaded for help. The other, when he collapsed outside his cell.
Nurses were sitting back behind the nurse and the desk. Three of them were sitting there. Not one of them got up and went around to see if that man was okay. I wouldn't have an employee like that.
At the time, WellStar Health System operated and staffed the jail's infirmary. In emails to 11 Alive, the company initially wrote it was unaware of any specific details or claims around these events until after 11 Alive shared its findings. 12 days later, WellStar wrote back to say, what we have seen and learned of Mr. Wingo's experience at the detention center is heartbreaking and unacceptable. More should have been done. But concerns about Wingo's care isn't the only complaint about the jail or WellStar.
In the past 13 months, 6 inmates have died while in custody inside the Cobb County Jail.
Since 2004, The Reveal has uncovered at least 50 inmates who have died at the detention center. Over the past few years, the public growing more aware and outraged after each death.
At this town hall meeting organized by ACLU Georgia, family and friends and attorneys of inmates demanding answers.
It is unconstitutional. It should not be this way.
We've got to do something.
Doreen Grimes is president of the Cobb County NAACP. She wants a criminal investigation launched into Wingo's death.
There's too many cases that are so familiar to Mr. Wingo's case that it's long overdue. And the spotlight and the attention to the Cobb County Detention Center needs to be shined bright.
It's a problem she believes is rooted in the county's history with its communities of color.
This is a reputation city, county that has a reputation of if you are of an ethnic background, don't get caught in Cobb County.
Cobb County Sheriff Neil Warren oversees the jail. He declined repeated interview requests, but in a statement to the Reveal, he stands by his deputies and the care provided to WINGO. He writes, "At the end of the day, we are law enforcement officers, not medical professionals. For this reason, I have always made it a priority to contract with the best healthcare providers available in hopes of giving inmates access to the same caliber of doctors and nurses that they would see if they were not in our custody."
Hi, do you have a pad open? I got an idiot over here playing games. He's trying to get to the hospital, so he's just playing around.
I mean, you watch that video and it's the most heartbreaking thing I've ever seen.
Nearly a year after Cavell Wingo's death, a district attorney takes action.
You have to go! You have to go!
Within feet of the Cobb County Jail, Cavell Wingo's son holds a picture of his late father, who died begging for help inside. Tiffany Wingo is Cavell's sister.
All I want is justice for my brother.
Wingo's family, the NAACP, the ACLU, and State Representative David Wilkerson all demanding Cobb County District Attorney Joyette Holmes launch a criminal investigation into his death.
Everyone ignored his cries for pain. That has to stop.
This past September, the district attorney makes a stunning announcement, writing in a statement that the jail video uncovered by the Reveal should be part of an independent investigation into Mr. Wingo's death. It is for this reason that I have asked the U.S. Attorney for the Northern District of Georgia to conduct an independent investigation of the recent inmate deaths at the Cobb Adult Detention Center.
I mean, clearly there's criminal negligence. We all see it on the tape.
Cindy Yeager is a former assistant Cobb County DA.
The fact that the family has had to hold rallies and literally beg for the attention of the district attorney, beg for the attention of the Georgia Bureau of Investigation is atrocious.
Hurdle after hurdle after hurdle.
Weeks after the DA requested a federal investigation, Wingo's family and community organizers met outside the Cobb County Courthouse.
Frederick Thurman, age 36.
Reading the names of all 50 inmates who have died inside the detention center.
Thomas Behar, 62, white male.
All is not well, okay? All is not well. There is ample amount of evidence that indicates that for many of them, their deaths could have been prevented.
2 nurses who worked the night Wingo died have been put on administrative leave. Representative Wilkerson plans to file his legislation early next year.